Alright, in this video demonstration we're going to configure Windows 7 for NAP. Now Windows 7 should already be configured with a static IP address, and let's leave it that way for now, and I can just double check that by going to my adapter settings, looking at the properties of my adapter, and you see that it is statically configured. Again, we're going to leave it that way for right now. We want to make sure that Windows 7 has those group policy settings and gets those that we just configured on the domain controller. So let's open up a command prompt, and we want to run a GP update force on Windows 7 to make sure it goes out to the domain controller, gets those user and computer specific group policies. So when we do this implementation of NAP, we are going to be good to go. So it says, hey, the user policy update has completed successfully, and the computer policy update has completed successfully. So we can get out of our command prompt, and now let's go in and turn off all firewalls on Windows 7. And I think we already have done that, but let's just double check that and make sure that all our firewalls are turned off. So Windows Firewall, I can see that it shows that they are off, and I can just double check that by looking at all of them. So off, off, and off. So all our firewalls are off. And remember, that's going to be very important to NAP, because we said, hey, listen, if you've got to have those firewalls on in order to connect to our network. And let's also go to server C just real quick and make sure that our firewalls are off there as well. So let's go to Windows Firewall. Oh, we do have one on for domain network, so let's make sure and turn that one off for our domain as well, so we can make sure it can communicate with Windows 7, giving out an IP address via DHCP to Windows 7. So if we still have that firewall on, there may be some problems. So now let's go into Windows 7 and let's configure it. And I'm going to rename this Windows 7, even though I can pretty clearly tell that it is Windows 7. Let's go in there and configure our Windows 7 machine to obtain an IP address automatically. So let's right click here, properties, and let's hit obtain IP address automatically. Say OK and OK. Give it a second here. All right. Look, it says network access protection. Network access might be limited. So let's click on that balloon to see the details of it. And it says that, hey, this computer doesn't meet the security standards defined by your network administrator. It says, hey, it might be limited until you update your computer. And it says, hey, the SHA, the SHA, was unsuccessful. And it says the remediation results was, hey, an administrator must enable a firewall program that is compatible with the Windows Security Center service in order to work. So let's do this. Let's open up a command prompt. Let's leave that window there, and let's open up a command prompt and see what we got. And let's do an IP config. You'll notice that we have an IP address, but we have no default gateway, and we have all 255 showing up as our subnet mask, which means that we're pretty much dead in the water there by doing that. Now let's go in and just manually remediate this by turning on our firewall. So again, we got another little pop-up here, might be limited, so let's go to Open Network and Sharing Center. Got another little pop-up there letting us know. Let's go to Windows Firewall, and let's turn the Windows Firewall on and off. And this is the domain location. Let's turn our firewall on. Say OK. Close out of this, and we can now try again, or we could click the security flag in there and open our Action Center. Or we could click the network access protection portion and try again. Give it a second to work here. I'll try that one more time here. Let me double check and make sure that we had our firewall turned on. I thought we did. Let's do Windows Firewall. We do have it turned on. Are we connected to our, let's just double check here. Let's do our home here. We are Hugoland local domain network, so we just took it a moment here. Let's go back and click on this. Sometimes it takes it a moment. Try this one more time. Go back and check my command prompt. Now we do have a valid IP address, and maybe that's just giving us some false information, false reporting. Let's go back and look. It's giving us just a bad message here. Normally when you click try again, it'll come back and say that you are now compliant, and hopefully yours does. But again, you can go back through and double check the IP address, do an IP config, and you'll see that we do have Hugoland.local, we do have a valid IP address, and I can actually get out on the internet now all the way through, showing or proving that I am in fact valid on the network. Again, I'm not real sure why, for whatever reason, that is not giving me a message saying that I'm good to go. Look at that just one more time before I leave. Almost it's kind of stuck. Notice how it's giving me just blanked out information. It's not giving me valid info there. Kind of weird. But sometimes these things happen. Oh well. Well, as you can see, I was validated and I am good to go. I'm on the network and able to access the internet. And hopefully when you do yours, you'll actually see that you have a valid IP address, and it will tell you in a message that you are compliant. All right, that's all for this portion of this demonstration.